Alright, welcome back to the second part of the series. Today I'm going to be focusing on cutting off this lower quarter panel. The idea behind this is that I would inevitably like to take a bumper and build it around and protect this quarter, but I really want to get rid of this section here. I think it'll help some with that departure angle. It'll clean up the whole look of the vehicle. The Monteros that I've seen that have had this modification done look way better than they do with this big chunk of material hanging here. So the idea is to cut that off, box the bottom of it, and clean this whole thing up, and then I can start building that bumper around the way I want. Alright, so I got the flare off and the trim off. It's all one giant piece. Essentially it's got a couple screws here, rivets that run throughout the wheel well, and then a couple clips all along and double-sided tape to seal it all up. So I broke a couple of these clips because I didn't know they were there. I figured it was just screws and double-sided tape, but that's no real concern. So I marked off here where the bottom rib is and where the next rib up is all the way across. And I'm going to go ahead and take my square and chalk a line across that and just cut the bottom one off and kind of see what we're working with. And then if I think I can make it work by chopping up a little bit higher, I'll do that. And like I said, I'll just notch up a little bit, I guess. I like to get it up as high as possible, so I'm going to get to it. Alright, so got it pretty much cut out there. and I made this plate to box it all in. So that'll go something like that right there. It'll box us in, keep everything out of the weather, and then give some support because that's pretty flexible there. So once it's all fully welded, it'll be pretty strong. Decided not to go up that extra rib. I think this will be pretty good the way it is. So got to weld the whole way around inside and out. I got to pop a hole in it for this drain, which is, I believe, the rear sunroof drain. So I need to do that so that can drain out the bottom. But the big thing about this, I just realized, is that this inner structure is completely open all the way up in here. So like the rear speaker and I believe, I don't know what else, there's something else hanging up there. But it's got to be pretty well sealed up. Otherwise all the crap will get up in there and rot out the inside of the vehicle. So I got to get this thing pretty well sealed up. And then after this will be kind of the difficult part, which is going to be cutting that plastic and making it look factory with this chop. So I'm kind of nervous about that. I don't really know how that's going to pan out. So we'll get to it, get this welded up. All right, well, there's one side pretty much done. Came out really nice. I'm super, super happy with it. Was able to paint and put some seam sealer back in there to seal it all up, and yeah, I'm really happy with the finished product. I think it's going to do really well. I think it's going to look really awesome once I get that bumper all built around. So I don't know if you can see that, if there's enough light, but I do need to pop a hole in the bottom for a drain. The rear sunroof drains, I believe, actually come back down through there. So step back and get a full shot. Pretty good looking. So I'm gonna get to work on the other side now and blast this out. It actually didn't take that much time. It took far less time than I thought it would. It wasn't a very difficult modification to make. Obviously I have tools that a lot of people don't have, so if you have the tools and the capability, I highly suggest doing this. Alright, so we got this side hacked off, and what's cool about this is since the outer shell of this vehicle is the same profile from left to right, I can just flip my original template over and use it, and then the inside piece here where it's different, I'll just mark it off and still have half the template will be usable. So that's the only difference from one side to the other. I think it's just because the fuel filler comes down there and it gives it a little bit more room. But hack that off and I'll have my added plate done. Alright guys, so here's the finished product. Pulled it outside, so hopefully there's a little bit better light. It's also crazy windy, so I apologize if there's a bunch of wind noise, but that's what that's what we're looking at. I'm pretty happy with how it came out. I can't wait to get that bumper made and on there. But looks like a bunch more clearance. I think I could fit a little bit bigger tire too if I really wanted to, and that may be down the road. But yeah, you can really see this thing's going crazy. You can really see that fuel tank tucked there, and obviously the chop. Shadows right in it, but still. Alright, well that's it for the quarter panel chop video. I hope you liked it. I hope you learned something from it. And if you're considering doing this modification, don't hesitate, because it really was not that difficult to do. I'm excited to get on to the next step, which is going to be the rear bumper. So be on the lookout for that video. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like, subscribe. And if you have any questions or comments, leave one below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks.